The Trump administration has been holding direct talks with Hamas over the release of American hostages held in Gaza and the possibility of a broader deal to end the war. The talks, held by U.S. Presidential Envoy for Hostage Affairs Adam Baylor, are unprecedented. The U.S. had never before engaged directly with Hamas, which it designated a terrorist organization in 1997. The meetings between Baylor and Hamas officials took place in Doha in recent weeks. While the Trump administration consulted with Israel about the possibility of engaging with Hamas, Israel learned about aspects of the talks through other channels. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed that the U.S. was holding direct talks with Hamas. She said Trump believes it is the right thing for the American people and added, "There are American lives on the line." The families of American hostages lobbied the Biden administration for months to talk directly with Hamas to get a separate deal to free their loved ones. The U.S., on the one hand, supports Israel by arming it and then has separate engagement where it engages with the opposition, much to the ire of Israel. It remains to be seen if these talks turn into any tangible outcome. President Trump has sent a letter to Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei and stressed that he wants to reach a deal on the country's nuclear program. Trump's letter to Khamenei, which the president revealed in an interview with Fox News, is the first significant engagement between the U.S. and Iran since the new administration took office. Trump reiterated that he wants to negotiate a new nuclear deal with Iran. Trump told reporters in the Oval Office,
"There'll be some interesting days ahead, that's all I can tell you. You know, we're down to final strokes with Iran. That's going to be an interesting time. And we'll see what happens. But we're down to the final moments. We're at final moments. Can't let them have a nuclear weapon."
Iran's president said he supports a dialogue with the U.S., but will follow Khamenei's advice. Iran's nuclear program has made advances over the last 4 years, but the CIA has, in a number of reports, concluded Iran is some distance away from a final deliverable nuclear device. Ever since the Ukrainian president's bitter meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump in the White House, European leaders have been working to get their act together in what appears to be America's withdrawal from the Ukraine conflict. The British, French, and Germans are all talking about huge increases in military spending and taking on the responsibility of policing Ukraine. A coalition of the willing could provide boots on the ground in Ukraine in the event of a ceasefire. The phrase was a central theme of UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer's speech after European leaders gathered in London for talks about Ukraine's future. The British Prime Minister has said the UK, France, and Ukraine will work together on a peace deal that could be presented to the US. The countries committed to working together on this deal would form a coalition of the willing. In this light, the European Commission proposed new joint European Union borrowing of 150 billion euros to lend to EU governments for defense. The rebuilding of the European defense capabilities requires much more than just additional budgets. 3 years of the war in Ukraine has shown Europe's industry is incapable of producing enough of the basic armaments that Ukraine needs, let alone what Europe will need if it is to be an independent operator. Europe currently depends on the US for the sophisticated armaments and supporting technologies that a modern army needs. These announcements by Europe on defense spending are more of the wishful thinking that characterizes European politicians and is not in any way a real step forward toward either replacing the US in Ukraine or developing strategic independence.